Yeah, so we just need volume to come through. This is what we need right now. See if we can re-break these lows down here would be there. Oh, holy shit. Go a little bit aggressive today. We need to understand what is the difference between backtesting and simulation, right? So the first thing I want to discuss is what's the difference between backtesting and simulation. Now, backtesting literally refers to you going into a software or into the charts and backtesting a strategy and a set of rules, right? You're backtesting a set of rules. This is good to collect data. A simulation is where you actually go in and practice your trading. Now, this is extremely important. Why is this important? Because what do professional basketball players, professional football players do? They all practice, right? That is very, very important. But in trading, we don't really practice. We kind of go straight into the game here, which is quite difficult. Today, we're going to do simulation because obviously I have a strategy. I've already tested it. So in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to do a simulation where we go ahead and practice what we do, right? So plan was to backtest gold here. So we can start up gold here. We'll do new simulation gold. We'll call this webinar gold. And yeah, let's backtest the recent year. Go ahead, November. Kind of can simulate the last half of November. So when's the last half? First half is 13th of November. The last half is 20th of November. So we can start, yeah, 2011. We can start on that. And yeah, we'll practice with, like, let's say 100k account here, 100x leverage. We'll start off this simulation here and then take it from there. So we'll decide during the simulation if we want to backtest London and New York. So gold here, 2023. Let's see what we got going on. So what I'll do is I'll skip to 1 hour before London like we normally have, right? So 1 hour before London, and we'll take it from there. So first thing we need to do is I need to mark up my higher time frames here. So I start off on daily time frame here, right? Daily time frame as always, and see what daily is doing. So we can see previous daily closing bearish here. We can mark this daily resistance here. No daily support really until down here, so I'm not too worried about that. 4 hour support here. See what 4 hours saying. So 4 hour also closed bullish here. So mixed session. We can be looking for buys today as well. Daily candle is closing bearish. We haven't tapped the support yet, but we are creating this here. We can see. So both do make sense. Mixed session, right? Because previous daily closed bullish, previous 4 hour closed bearish. Now, if you don't understand this stuff, you can visit my YouTube channel and you can check that out as well, right? So this is going to be our 4 hour support. My top down analysis here is part of what I do. I start everything on higher time frame. Why? Because I want to understand what's going on the higher time frame, because higher time frame guides here, right? Higher time frame is the best time frame to understand what's going on in the market, and then we can use lower time frame to trade the higher time frame intraday movements, right? So with 4 hour candle here closing bullish, we do have an opportunity here. Now in terms of zones, it's clean on 4 hour to the support. It's clean towards this resistance here. So we have both two clean zones from the support to the resistance here. So we need to have a look. Okay, what are we going to do on lower time frames here? So next thing I'm going to check is the 1 hour. 1 hour looks pretty clean here for sells and for buys as well. So actually quite a nice standpoint here we have, right? So buys above this 1 hour. Now I do think this will be more resistances on 30 and stuff. Let's have a look. No, 30 is clean and 15 is a little bit higher. So buys above here immediately in the short term here look good. Now, you can't really buy above the daily resistance because we have the 1 hour sitting there. So that's only about 9 pips anyways. 9 pips is not enough, right? 9 pips is not enough. So we really want to be above this 15-minute for buys. Now for sells, fill this gap already. Huge clean zone towards the downside here. A close below here will give me the opportunity to take sells. Below this 15-minute, we would also get below the 30-minute here, yes, as well. So, to be honest, that's a clean plan here. It's pretty simple. Sells would be below here for me to fill this clean candles, because I want to be trading in zones with clean candles. We've done a higher time frame analysis. We have no obstruction towards the downside. Lower time frame has a clean zone. We understand if we start to create supports from here, we can look to take buys above this zone and start to fill back up into here and try to see if this is okay. This is the retest done. Price now wants to continue this upside here. Now, if we do look at overall market structure, does have a little bit of a weakness where we kind of have price trying to make lower highs right now. So we do, we can keep that in the back of our mind, but in terms of technicals, we want to be looking more at trading through ranges here. So we'll skip by 5-minute candles here, as that's just going to be more efficient. And yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. So we can skip by 5-minute candles here. So this 15-minute candle is going to close in here. Actually, 15-minute candle has closed, right? 11 a.m. here. Yeah, that 15-minute candle has closed. So technically, yeah, we can look for sells here with this candle closing here. If we can get the next candle making a top wick here, And yeah, and look to execute on sells. To be honest, that does look a bit clean. 11 a.m., 1 hour before. It is slightly earlier, but I do think it still makes sense. Yeah, I do think it still makes sense. So yeah, I think that's going to be a shot here if we can get a top wick on the next candle here. All right, so we didn't actually close there. All right, fair enough. So we didn't close below yet. 15-minute closed above, so there's no sells right now. Next 15-minute candle still closed above here. So I'm just going to skip by 15 because I now need a 15-minute candle closing below here. This candle does close below right now, as you can see. So we did close below, but there's this long rejection wick here. I'm not too sure how I feel about that rejection wick. 30-minute is saying what? 30-minute also long rejection wick. London open in 15 minutes. See how this looks on 5. Yeah, I would prefer maybe a 5-minute candle close below here minimum. We'll skip by 5 minutes, but I don't like a rejection. Typically, I don't want to trade into this rejection wick zone here. And there we go. London open has come here. So we have a close below respecting the lows. London open here. 1 hour candle is closing bearish. 30 minutes closing bearish as well. Actually, 30 minutes closing a small wick towards the upside here. Now, what do we say here? So we have 15-minute candle closing below the range here. 1 hour candle closing below the range. 30-minute candle closing below the range, right? We have 30-minute candle closing below the range. 1 hour candle closing below the range. And we have this 15-minute here. Now, this is known as a setup 3, right? Because we have the candle here leaving rejection wick towards the upside. 1 hour is closing below the range. And we see this rejection here. So it's not closing back in the range. So this we could technically just take it, rip it on the break of the lows and target 1-to-1 or whatever next level here. So 1-to-1, we can do that as well and just target the next level. So for me, this makes sense. This was the plan we made in the morning. Remember, from the morning, from the beginning of the session here, we made a plan saying what? Looking for sells below. We have got that now. Need to execute on my plan. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and take a sell here, right? Take a sell here. Not exactly here, but here once we break these lows. Stop loss I'm going to put above the candle highs here. And look to target a 1-to-1 for simplicity's sake. Ideally, we can look to target the lows here and leave a runner to see what ends up happening here, right? So we can book something here. So 1% here, risking 1%. There's our 1-to-1-ish. And we can confirm here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag this after we get in the trade so we can close manually here something. So let's go ahead and we can play this by ticks here. We'll play it by 5-second ticks just to watch it, right? And simulate like we were actually in the market here. So we'll speed it up, of course, and see how this ends up going here. So break of the lows, interested to take a sell here. Okay, so got triggered there now. Okay, so we did get triggered in that. That previous support needs something to close below when the gap is, but the gap is already being crossed through, right? So we don't need to worry about a gap. If the gap was still there, then yeah, we have an issue, but this is just a gap open. So I'm not worried about the gap open. I'm just taking a setup 1 basically on 1 hour here, right? I thought the 50-minute candle would close, but it wasn't, but it's basically a setup 1 on 1 hour and setup 1 on 30-minute, right? So it's literally a setup 1 on 30-minute, setup on 1 hour, but now we even got a 15-minute setup 3, which ended up happening anyways, which is good here. So we can continue to play this and see how it goes. Now break-even levels, we don't really have much levels to go break-even, guys, because it is clean here if we look at this. So I think I'll just have to manage this trade if anything, because there's no levels. Obviously, if we get close towards a 1-to-1, like literally close to TP, then we can look. But so far it's pushing well, about running around, you know, 0.5% in profit. Candle is closed here, made its top wick. Once it breaks the low, it really shouldn't need to re-break its high, right? So we've rebroken the low. That's the high it made. So that's why it's important price making a top wick, because when price makes a top wick, it respects this high right now, right? Now, when it comes down and breaks the low, I expect it to respect this high right now. So literally here, I could be break even and sit pretty comfortably at break even, to be honest, because we have made that high. So I can just drag my stop loss to break even and look to secure once we get around that 1-to-1 zone there. So see if we can push to that, or if we end up retracing, which would be annoying. So yeah, so we just need volume to come through. This is what we need right now. This candle shouldn't need to break this previous candle high, which is going to be our break-even point anyways. Once we break the previous candle low, there we go. We should be able to get around our 1-to-1, hopefully. Even 5 minutes is as clean as day. 5 minutes, we have no problems. It's extremely clean. But with the way this is rejecting here, as long as we can respect this high, hopefully we can get back down. Or here we might be stopped out break-even, which will be a little bit unfortunate here, but it is part of the game. There we go. So we got stopped out break-even. Now it's rejecting towards the high. And yeah, that's basically it, right? So a break-even trade, nothing you can do. 1 pip away from TP. We'll see if this wants to end up continuing here. I do believe it will still continue. But in terms of following a plan here, this is going to be the best shot. I guess it's a little bit more aggressive break-even here, us going this. But hey, first trade of the account here, we want to keep it clean. So let's skip and see what would have happened here. And yeah, price actually would have come straight into drawdown and actually stopped us out. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. It does make sense. You can see that that break even was correct. Unfortunately, did not give the 1-to-1, right? So I didn't want to close half anywhere here. We did run into around about 20 pips here. So yeah, literally 3 pips from TP. Nothing really you can do about that. You just kind of have to accept that and move on here. So let's skip to New York here, see what we got going on by New York here. So ended up retesting, moving towards the downside here at the moment. So we do open into next ranges here. So bias should be fully bearish right now, right? 4 hours should have closed. 4 hours should have closed bearish, and it has here. So 4 hours candles closing bearish here. So sells make sense for New York, and I think the selling plan for New York is going to be pretty simple right now. I would love to see, so this has created a little structure. We have structure here as well. So what I would love to see is I would love to see price close below here. This is going to be my plan for New York. So very simple plan, continuing from London. Luckily, we didn't dump too much. We pulled back. So that would have stopped us out. It did end up continuing. I guess another sell was here, but I'm not trading during that time. Now I'm going to look for New York volume to come through here and something to close below to fill this clean range here. It's another clean range. I expect price to be, I expect price to be filled here, right? I expect price to be filled. So this is something that I'm going to look for. So let's have a look here and see what we can do. See if we get a close below or not. So let's see. All right, 15-minute candle has closed below here. I wonder if this is going to be interesting here. The only problem is we have pushed quite a bit here, but coming into NY with this momentum here, 4 hours extremely clean. I do think this is going to be valid breaking the lows here, but I want to give stop loss a little bit of room here. So I do think this is going to be an option here, just based on how we're breaking down. Take sell, setup number 1, right? Stop loss above the highs here. We got break even this morning, but this is the last kind of way we can push this trade here, because if we sell any, so the problem I have right now is if I sell any deeper, it's game over, because now I'm just selling too low. Like, this is a very juicy LTA. Not often do you get zones like this, high volume zone. You want to take advantage of it. That's why I'd rather be more aggressive and sell right now and see what happens. But I can get punished here. I can get punished. Price just breaks the low, pulls back into retest this range, and I get stopped out. Problem, the thing I don't mind is that if I do get stopped out on this, I do have a re-entry plan if it is to get below. And that'll be my 3 trades done for the whole day. I won't trade anymore. So yeah, let's see what ends up happening here. See if we get triggered. So top wick being made. See if we get entered on the trade. And yeah, it has entered us on the trade. So let's see what ends up happening. Already pulling back, which is not the best sign. But we have to trust in probabilities. And just hope we don't get stopped out, I guess, eh? Yeah, we can speed this up. And we'll see. So pushing nicely here. Break-even levels, again, it's like London trades. We don't really have too many break-even levels. So yeah, close below 15, still closing bearish, still holding drawdown here. Oops, we retested that level, rejected it, which is nice. So it's nice that we're retesting that level and rejecting it, right? That gives us confidence that we should be able to respect that level and continue down. 15-minute candle closed doji. We have a setup 3 here. So if we can break the lows, wow. A little bit of a deep retrace. So now the last level of defense is going to be this zone here. Last level of defense is going to be this zone. If we can't respect this zone, it's going to be game over. Right now, managing, I can't really manage anything as we didn't close back inside of the range. If we did close back inside of the range, I have room to manage. But you can see we didn't close. We rejected it. We actually formed a setup 3. So if this could actually flip or close weak bearish, would actually be quite good. If it's going to go straight to stop loss, it's going to go straight to stop loss, right? And then I'm going to be stopped out. But look, that's the reaction from the zone. And this is the problem with trying to, sell the continuation. And this is actually an insane lesson here, because without structure, right? Without structure, there's nothing for price to respect. It'll probably just hit your stop loss. So selling lows without structure is where the issues become. So this is extremely, extremely important there. So it is respecting it so far. Let's hope it keeps rejecting and not do any funny business. Okay, so far it closed back inside the range. with how close it is towards stop loss, you know, I mean, and closing below that structure there, I guess this is one that I'll just have to hold. No bottom wick as well, so I want to at least see this make a bottom wick, but it's not looking the best too far. But hey, probabilities hopefully are on our side here, since we are following trend, we're following bias, we're following all the rules here. But so far that's good actually. That's a nice push. So that will allow me to put my stop loss above the high, and we can just continue. So hopefully we can break this low. Once we break this low, we should have some sort of action here and some continuation. All right, we finally broke the lows, which is exactly what we want right now. And it retraced again. So let's see if we can re-break. Yeah, this zone is becoming extremely difficult. We didn't even tap key level fully just yet. Extremely difficult zone. But we created a lower high here. We created a lower high. So stop loss is adjusted to here. I'm thinking if I should just manage this trade at entry right now. Nothing is closing below. Next candle closes here in 10 minutes. This is where we go take help from the higher time frame. What's 30 minutes saying? So 30 minutes created a resistance, closing bearish. 1 hour is saying what? 1 hour has broken the lows so far. Rejection wick as well on the 1 hours, but the 1 hour did close back below this zone here. See if we can re-break these lows down here would be there. Oh, holy shit. Yo! Man, I shouldn't have said TP, bro. What the? Yo! It's not news, it's not news. We don't have any news events here. That's not a news, that's just a clean move. Remember, this is sped up, right? We sped up the ticks. If you look at it on 5 minutes, it's actually a nice big 5 minute candle. Oh, head and shoulder pattern 5 minutes. So yeah, pretty clean to be honest. Top of previous range here. But I wish I didn't set the TP so we could catch the full move. Normally when I'm trading on my live account, I don't set a TP. I just close manually. But hey, it's a winning trade. We can't really complain here. That's the power of bias, right? That's the power of bias. So we'll take that W and we'll move on to the next day, as that's our trades done for the day. London and New York done. So we'll come back to London session here and see what we've got going on here, right? For London session. So London session, let's see what we got going on and start off. Would you normally risk half a full for continuation moves? Full for this one, yeah. It did end up reversing from those lows. It went a little bit lower. Full because of the structure we had. Remember, it's leaving just the structure here. And I'm relying on this huge clean zone. Like whenever you have really clean zones like that, you need to maximize, right? You can see look at the moves you get in those clean zones, right? They're very heavy moves. Big clean zone, heavy moves. So you need to maximize those moves. And that's going to be a way to do that. So let's have a look what we got going on here. Previous daily, I'm assuming, is closing what? A bullish here, and previous 4 hour closing what? Bullish. So we do have a bullish bias here. 4 hour resistance around here, which we did close above. So today makes sense for buys. Today makes sense for buys. And that's what I'm going to be looking for here, is for buys. So let's see what we end up getting here. I'm not looking for sells today, just pure buyer today. Pure buyer, looking for probably buys above this 15 if I was going to assume here for a trade, and to probably target the next 15, right? See that. So we need to check how that looks on the 1 hour, because we could have a cascading support and that might give us problems, but we luckily don't. Yeah, we're very lucky we don't. It's not cascading. So as usual, we will skip, and I think that's going to be the plan. Unless we can pull back deeper here, create a clean zone to trade, only then I can trade towards the upside. Otherwise, there's not really much I can do until we close above the range here. So see what ends up happening. Rejecting at the moment. So remember, we talked about pulling back here, creating a clean zone, right? We now have a change of structure from the downside. Prices closed above this little resistance here. It's set up 2 type formation here, at least to get back up to previous range. Yeah, this will also be set up 2 on the 30 minute as well. We did create the clean candle zone. Bullish bias. I'm a buyer today. We have this zone here that we need to kind of watch, maybe go break even at. Yeah, that's definitely break even zone, but buy is breaking this high I'm interested in. Buy is breaking this high I'm interested in because we are bullish bias today. Like I said, we either taking the continuation above the highs, or if we pull back and create a clean zone, which we did, and now we create structure. Now the reason I don't take this first candle closing bullish, it didn't break the highs anyways, but after a big push down, I don't like to do that. It's not good confirmation, but when we have a change of structure, we're also coming from a support zone. We closed above that. Yeah, I do think that this makes a lot of sense here. But I do want to keep stop loss below the range here because we have no bottom wick on the previous candle. Sometimes price likes to grab liquidity from there. And also, if you look at 30 minutes, you want to be keeping it below the 30-minute low as well, right? Because it has to respect that low to go up. So yeah, let's see what ends up happening with this one here. Gonna take this here and confirm, and let's play by 5 seconds like we were and see what happens. So bottom wick is made, which is exactly what we want. So far, stress-free trade, no drawdown, so that's always nice. All right. good. We're getting towards the zone. We can look to take 50% off here. So 420 is a good number. So we'll cut 50%. So we just cut 50% there, and I can move stops to now below this candle here. Why? Because we shouldn't break that candle in order to go up. So ideally we close back inside of the range. Once we close back inside of the range, we can move stop loss a little bit higher, and we can look to, as soon as we create structure, we can start trailing, right? That's where stuff gets fun, when we can just start trailing. But we don't have any structure yet. We'll check 5 minute if we have. Not really. I'd love to see this make a higher low right now, and we can start trailing that. Coming back to entry right now. So bouncing off entry right now. Yeah, so probably gonna just close it there. Don't really like what it's doing here, so gonna close it there. We only lose $37 extra, so we still make almost 0.5%, but I really don't like that it's not immediately bouncing off entry. I'm scared it will just dump down if I play it. It actually bounced back up, but hey, this is what happens, right? You can't make the decision. This is why I said backtest simulation is important, because you have to make decisions like you were in real life market. Even though this can make another high low, doesn't mean that I can't find entry, because our adjust stop loss was here. So we see if that would have been hit, and boom, you would have been hit adjust stop loss. So did I make the right decision? Yes. At the time, you might have been like, oh, I shouldn't have closed, blah, blah, blah. Because right now, leading into NY, which is going to be in like soon, to be honest, we can be looking for more buys back above this here, right? Like here's another setup too here. This is even not a bad trade maybe. Let's see how everything closed. So 1 hour candle did what? Problem is we tapped target here, right? We tapped a target. 1 hour candle close bullish, 30-minute close rejection. So we could add here. We could try to add here, but we could risk $250, which is half of what we made this morning. So we can risk $250. So we're basically adding back our runner position. So we'll see if we can add here, go a little bit aggressive today and keep it just like that. So let's see. Oh, I played it. My bad, boys. My bad. I played it by 15 minutes, but no, it ended up triggering us. It got close to the resistance. We're still in profit here, but yeah, this is where I would definitely be break even regardless. Let's see if we can get to the resistance. Again, no bottom wick. So no bottom wick here. If this flips, I'm just gonna take it. So if it flips, if we get TP, okay, we got TP. So this is the power of being able to leverage re-entries, right? So we ended up getting more confirmation. Price created another setup too, allowed us to go towards the upside. Now what's interesting, we never tapped this resistance. So again, with such low risk, 250, you don't really have to be too aggressive to go get out break even. But with two, because it's just half of what you made today, right? But now this allows us, check this out. This is what's super cool, is we make another $600, right? Right, with my first position taking partials, okay, 0.4%. It's fine, but now I have leverage because I have this money that I've made that I can leverage for the rest of the day. Worst case scenario, worst, right, is I lose that 400 and end my day break even, which is not a bad scenario, right? And if you're over trading, doing silly mistakes, yes, it makes it bad, but overall, it's not the worst scenario. The second thing here is that we ended up trying to leave a runner with an adjust stop loss of 150. So even if I lose that runner and it went straight to stop, we're still making something for the day here. Now, what's even more important with this is that we allowed ourselves to get out of this position, still make $400, and say, let's wait for more confirmation here. So we can leverage this money. I didn't put the $400 back in because I'm trying to maintain profitable. So instead, what I do is I leverage half of this, a little bit more than half, 250, right, 0.25%, which is extreme low risk, extremely safe. If I lose this trade, I end up being profitable here and allow the original idea to hit TP. Now, what's crazy, a little bit thing that's crazy, and we can look at it, if I just left stop loss and TP here, it would have eventually hit TP. Am I right? So we have to understand, like, the original trade idea would have hit TP. But our job is not to ask what ifs. Like, I need this to happen. No, your job is to trade what the market is doing. So was I right to secure something at this previous resistance? Yes and no. I was right at the time because that's what I was seeing. That's the power of being a trader. That's being price action. You can see how as the 5 minute came here, I wanted to close. So yes, I was right. Did my original idea still play out? Yes. Did I get a re-entry into that idea? Yes, I did get a re-entry into that idea, which we did end up taking. So I could leverage that 250. Keep in mind that in the whole day, even if I lost that, I'm still going to remain profitable and bring my account balance back to above 1% profit for the day, right? By doing what? By leveraging such a small amount of capital and still keeping yourself profitable. Like worst case scenario today, I'm still up 250. Like how is that a bad day? Like worst case, you know, and you just come back at it tomorrow. Like you're still slowly gaining. So yeah, this is the leverage, the ability to leverage that and to leverage secondary entries is extremely powerful, because I'm really safe in this, because I'm continuing my idea. Of course, there'll be days where I just leave today with $400 because there wasn't a second entry option. Price just consolidated and just blasted towards the upside here. But in this case, when we have the re-entry option, this is where we can leverage capital and still maintain growth while still minimizing risk of downside, which is extremely important lesson, and something cool that I'm glad we could see here, right? So that did work out. So this is basically you know, a little bit of a sim session here. I don't want to keep this too long. I want to keep this nice and short. We managed to do pretty well on this sim session. So this is you know, this is basically the power of using Pip Labs here. So if you guys haven't tried Pip Labs, on your dashboard, if you click Pip Labs, this will say try for free. You're allowed to use this for free here, and try out 1 month. I would recommend practicing using it and taking advantage of the software, right?